I've been thinking about doing this series of videos for quite a while about unboxing Land Rover parts that I get. In fact, I think I might just do that if I can grab enough time to do open boxing on Land Rover parts. Now this video is particularly something that Will and I have been talking about from Land Rover Workshop. And check out his site if you're involved in Land Rovers, because it's really good. It's very comprehensive and he has a lot of info on there. But as you know, there's different levels of quality for Land Rover parts. Now, my main supplier is Britpart. Now, don't turn off, it's not as bad as you think. So what I did, I thought about ordering the light switches and the column switches for a Defender. The things that always break and they always go, and something that most of us are all familiar with. Now, what I did was, I got a set of Britpart ones here, and I also got a set of Lucas ones. I was going to buy a set of genuine Land Rover ones as well, but they were 10 times more expensive than these. But, as many of you know, if you open a Land Rover box, you will find there are Lucas parts inside. Alright, so just be wary of them. That's why we've got aftermarket, replacement, OEM, and then we've got genuine, but it's not really affordable, and I can't really afford to justify a box. Because, you know, like I could resell these parts, well, I'll use them or resell them, but customers are not going to buy genuine Land Rover parts. I can tell you that for now. So I actually have already opened these and I've marked them so we don't get them mixed up. That could be interesting. And I want to show you, we're going to open them up one at a time and have a look and see what the difference in quality actually is. I'm going to try and get some close-ups. Now I have had a few problems with focus on this camera, so I think this is about the right area, and I'll try and zoom in a little bit on some details. It's going to be kind of tricky, but let's see how it goes. So the first thing we're going to open up is the light switch. Always going damn light switches. Like I said, I did open them up and mark them. Now, because I'll get them mixed up, that's how close they are in quality. Obviously this is a Britpart one, and I have marked it up with BP on there. It's not because it comes from a petrol company. But we're going to have a look and see. Now I ordered this one. This one's like a TD5 type plug or a later Land Rover, but well, it doesn't really matter. But you can see straight away inside, the first thing that grabs my attention, there's no grease or lubricant in this switch. It feels pretty loose. Now I will, at the end of this video, I'll do a little section with the prices of these and the part numbers, so we're not getting confused. It's soldered pretty well. The casting looks good, and the plug, well, that doesn't look bad. The one confusing thing about it is the wiring colours. We've got a heavy green wire here where it should be a brown wire, and the blue one goes to your actual light switch itself, and this little wire here, which is a black, is it black and purple? Well, that's for your side lights, so can be a bit confusing. It's a bit loose. You can see it's a bit loose, but does it function? Yes, it does. Works great. Comes with a rubber grommet as usual. Not too bad. I've used these before in the past, but the problem with the light switches is it gets full current load going through the switch, where it should actually go through a relay. This should actually activate a relay rather than the full current load for the lights going through this switch. Bad idea, but there again, it's Land Rover. So now let's have a look at the Lucas one. Nice box. And that's the part numbers that we're talking about. Alright, so you can see here on the Britpart one, it's not got any, it's just got the regular number, but on the Lucas one it's got a G at the end, and like I said, look out for the G's, because these will be the genuine parts, or the Land Rover parts when you open the box. There's no grease in there either. The colours are right though. The colours are right on the switch. That's good. Let's compare the two together, and you can see that the switch, the aftermarket switch, is definitely different where it's marked, where the paint mark is here for the lights. This one's a lot brighter. So obviously they're not the same. They're not exactly the same company, because I have known Lucas put things in different boxes. The quality of plastic and the stamping is different here, because these are just soldered with great big globs of solder onto the contacts, where these are riveted on. So that's a big difference. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Hard to say, because I've known these switches, these genuine Lucas switches, become loose on these rivets over a period of time. The Lucas one is actually marked with an etching for Lucas, all right, whereas this has nothing. Now, interestingly enough, this box has no markings on it to say where it was made. If it was proud enough to say, yeah, it's made in UK, okay, but I don't think they are. But the quality is quite good. Like I say, check out to the end of the video and I'll put a list of the prices on and show you what's what. So we'll put that back in. So what's my verdict? Would I buy a Britpart one or would I buy a Lucas one? Lucas one. No shadow of a doubt. Because like I say, if you've got no lights, you know, if your switch has gone faulty, and we've had this before where you're sort of having to wiggle them about to get them to work, and you can see how they work. There's a central post with your power, and it just switches it between those contacts there. Probably they don't put lubrication onto them because it could overheat. Again, bad design. But remember, Land Rover very rarely make anything, so they always buy parts in like that. So that's one thing. So we've done that one. Next one we'll have a look at is, let's just see, PRC 7370 or 7370G. First of all, we'll have a look at the Britpart one. And again, I did open these up to mark them, and because I don't want to get them mixed up. You see, I put a BP on there. Now, this is a little bit different. I've had these before that were on the casting, was cast in Lucas. This has got nothing. Again, there is nothing on the boxes to state where they were actually made. They say they're made in UK. And look at that. There's a thing of confidence. Trust Lucas. Americans are going to have a laugh at that. This is going to be a surprise because I already had a look at this, but I'm doing this for you. The wiring and everything seems to be right. This is the earlier type of plug for 300 and 200 TDIs. And because it's got the yellow wiring in here, this has got the intermittent switch on. Now again, functions great. Looks good. And if we look carefully, I'm going to try and hold that camera so it will focus in. Inside here, there are some numbers cast inside. It says 102313, and then there's a number 2 in this section here. Alright, now this is going to be an eye-opener for you, because now we're going to open the Lucas one. It's like Christmas, isn't it? Cost me a bloody fortune on this, you know. Notice, same bubble wrap. There's a clue. Open it up, and now you'll understand why I marked the 2 Britpart. This one's got a little etching on here, but look at this where it says OK. Chinese put OK things on. Alright, Chinese put OK on. I've never seen that on UK stuff, and it's that type of lettering, stamping, you know, you see it on parts as it's OK. I think they've got a load of OKs. I mean, they're not going to stamp it not OK, are they? But look at this. Let's compare the two. Spot the difference? It's the same. It's exactly the same. And if you look very, very closely here, now this is the Britpart one, this one here, but look at that little box here, where the etching should be. See? Ah, so this is an unetched one. We look at the, you see inside here, lubricated, lubricated. See? Look at the wiring. Look at it very carefully. It's identical. The only thing is that I've noticed is the colour of the brown and yellow wire on this one, whereas here it's a brown and a green. But other than that, I can't see much of a difference. Now, I've got confused now. Remember I said that this was stamped inside. Sure enough, exactly the same stampings in exactly the same place. Now, if this was an aftermarket part or a knockoff part, why go to all the trouble of putting stamps in there like numbers? It's not worth it. So I think this has come off the same batch. Let's have a look at the plugs. Even the plugs look identical. The only difference I can see is there's a little injection mark in here where this hasn't got the injection mark in. It's got it on this side. Alright, so that's the only difference I can see. That doesn't mean anything. But to me, I would have said they're the same. Because, as we mentioned earlier on the light switch, you see that the brightness of the marking here is completely the same. I couldn't tell the difference between the two. There is a marking on here on the Britpart one that says PE, but that's it. So apart from a different coloured wire, I just can't see any difference. I mean, look at the length of the taping. It's absolutely identical. You can see why I marked them up now. So that one's the Britpart one, so we'll put that one back in the Britpart box. Just shows you, eh? We'll put this one back in the Lucas box. Nice boxes though. Right, get rid of that before we mix them up. Next thing we'll have a look at is this one, the one that always breaks. Again, Britpart one. I've marked it up earlier with BP on it. This is for your indicators, horn and dip beam. Now, these things here always break. This little plastic thing here fits around your steering column, and it's got a little pinch bolt on here to hold it tight, and they always break around here, so then your switches are going like this and it causes more trouble. And a lot of people forget to put the two little screws at the bottom of the cowling on. Yeah, so anyway, let's have a look at this one, see what we think. Again, it looks alright, and it's a bit loose. There are no markings on the plastic at all. Alright, there's no markings on that. The wiring looks somewhat, it's got that Chinese look about it. Do you know what I mean? It's got that Chinese sort of feel about the wiring. It doesn't look nice and crisp like the old British wiring was. Not that that means anything. Anyway, let's have a look at this one. Ooh, lovely box on this one. Again, no markings. None of them say where they're made. But when I look at my customs declaration, it says that the Lucas ones are made in the UK and these are made in Taiwan or China. We can see a distinct difference here with the Lucas one. Look at the difference in the metalwork, the sheet metalwork. You see the Lucas one is a lot lighter And also you can see here it's etched on with a Lucas part number. Yeah, I put an L there, and it's got PK on there for some reason. Again, this is what I was going to say to you about. You see the difference quality of the painting on there. The Britpart one is quite pale, but the Lucas one is looking really, really good, and that looks like it's kind of durable painting. What else? The moulding colours are different, so this is obviously a different. This is definitely a knockoff one, but it looks the same. The screws are different. They've put Allen screws in there, and I think I thought at the beginning they've put those security Allen screws in, but these are just Phillips, and they're just ordinary Allen screws. Let's turn them around and let's have a look. On the Britpart one, we've got some heat shrink with markings on them, where the Lucas one hasn't. Looks alright. It looks exactly the same. There's a different sort of screw on this one. On the Lucas one, it's just like a plastic screw, screwed into plastic without a washer. But the Britpart one comes with these typical type of Japanese type of screws with a spring washer and a flat washer. After a few years in the trade, you can actually look at parts and say you can tell where they're made by just looking at the screws and the fixings. It's funny that, isn't it? There is no markings on the Lucas one at all on the mouldings or anything, but there obviously is a distinct difference. Dimensionally wise, they look exactly the same. I mean, a blind man and a galloping horse wouldn't notice any difference, but they look okay. So where would you put your money? I have to look again. Where would you put your money? On the Britpart one or the Lucas one? I'd put my money on the Lucas one, to be honest. We're going to get all mixed up now. I'd put my money on the Lucas one. But for the other switch, for the switch we had earlier, I just get a Britpart one because they look identical. So that was interesting. I've got some other bits and pieces here that we're going to open up. Put that back in its box. I'll tidy that up later, but I just don't want to get them mixed up.